Salt. Wexton-by-Glade was a pretty country town. It was well known for its neat streets and tidy parks, and as the home of Blubberbelly bath salts. Mr. Blubberbelly was fat and unpopular, rude and selfish, and his heart was as hard as cement, but he did make the best bath salts in the country. Only sensational smells he'd boast. The river glade which ran behind Mr. Blubberbelly's factory did not smell very nice, however. It had a strange green tinge, with bubbles floating along the top. The fish were often ill, and so were the river sprites who looked after it. In the end, 2 of them went to see Oberon, the king of the fairies. "It's not fair," said Pondweed. "We try to look after the river and everything that lives in, on, or by it. The situation is very, very bad," said Ripple. "I know," said Oberon. "I think we should go and have a look around Mr. Blubberbelly's factory." "But he only makes sensational smells," said Ripple. "It says so on the front." "We'll see," said the king. They made themselves invisible, flew into the factory, and came to a noisy room with a large boiling tub and lots of pipes and tubes. There was a wonderful smell of lemon in the room. "This is the room where they make the bath salts," said Oberon. Then he led them through a door marked Waste Room. The smell was terrible. "Yuckety ugh," said the sprites once inside. "You see, whatever you make, there's always waste," began Oberon. "It's like with cooking. You can make the tastiest food, but there's always something, such as carrot tops, onion skins, or eggshells to get rid of. Let's see what Mr. Blubberbelly does with the waste from his factory, shall we?" They found a pipe which ran out of the room and followed it. It wound around lots of corners and eventually went outside. From the end, thick gunk was pouring straight into the river. "Stinky poo," said Pondweed. "I think it's time to have a word with Mr. Blubber Smelly," said Oberon. So that night, the 3 fairies visited the factory owner in his house. "How dare you come in here?" he shouted. "I'm just about to have my bath. I want to try out my new lemon bath salts. Buzz off." Mr. Blubberbelly looked soft, but his heart was as hard as cement. Now, it doesn't do to shout at a fairy, especially if he's a king. Oberon waved a magic spell over the new bath salts and led the fairies away. "What was the spell, your majesty?" asked Ripple. "Wait until tomorrow," came the reply. Early next morning, the fairies flew to the market square, and what they saw there made them gasp. Mr. Blubberbelly was sitting in a bath of cement. "I changed the bath salts to cement powder," said Oberon. "When he mixed it with water and sat in it, it set. Then, just for good measure, I made it move here." They flew down and perched on the bath taps. "You did this to me," fumed Mr. Blubberbelly. "I can't move." "You expect nice clean water in your bath," said Oberon. "The river creatures expect the same in their river. Only you can help them." "Never," said the arrogant man. "I'm not going to be ordered around by a bunch of fairies." "Suit yourself," said Oberon as they flew away. "You'll only be free when you've found a way to say you're sorry." Mr. Blubberbelly folded his arms I shall not be moved," he shouted. "You're right there," said a woman on her way to work. "It would take an elephant to move that path." Then she called to others, "Look at old Blubberguts." Soon there was a crowd of people looking and laughing at him. This went on all morning. At lunchtime he started to feel hungry. In the afternoon he was hungry and cold. By the evening he was hungry, cold, and bursting to use the toilet. "All right," he yelled as night fell. "I give in. You win." But there was no one around. "I know how awful the river is. I will change things, I promise." But all that could be heard was the wind whistling around the town hall tower. In the end he started to cry. As the tears fell onto the cement, they melted it. He climbed out of his sludgy bath and walked home. The next day he arranged for trucks to take away all the factory waste. Mr. Blubberbelly's heart remained generous and kind. It had been as hard as cement, but now it was melted.